All right, one of the great benefits of GroupThinq is that allows your supervisor or your project manager to go in and do your invoicing. When an invoice is created this way, it is sent directly to your accounting department. So it's separate from your accounting platform. So you may be using a different accounting system, but as a project accounting application, this is really one of the strengths of GroupThinq. So we're going to set up an invoice for this project. And we'll start by clicking here to add a new invoice. It automatically selects the date, so you can change that. You can set the terms of it, the due date as well. If there's a purchase order number that was set up in the fees tab here, that will get pulled over into this section. Otherwise, you could just remove that from it. It automatically pulls your contact information because you set that up in the project header previously. So there's a number of different types of invoices here. There's a description type invoice and a percent phase invoice. So for a descriptive invoice, which is most of the invoices that you'll find, is you've done, this might be a progress invoice from August 1st to the end of August, and we can describe that, just write in the information, or I can pull the time from everybody's timesheets. So if I go into a timesheet report here and look at the number of hours, so this gives you kind of a summary of who's worked on the project, the phases that have been complete, the amount of hours and what days were worked, and the overall, if you scroll down to the bottom here, the total hours and the fees. So again, if I wanted to copy that then to my clipboard, or I can download that as an Excel file. So for instance, I'll copy that to the clipboard, go in here, and I can just paste that in. And so this, you put in a description, progress invoice from August 1st till the 30th. These are the amount of hours that have been worked. I'll put in the 2340. And if there's any expenses here, remember we had $1,000 assigned for expenses to this project. I can put in some printing charges, and let's just say we did some plotting, and they're $20, let's say $10 a piece. There's $200 worth of expenses. Your taxes are pulled from your company information in the admin section, so you don't have to set that every time. You can change your payment terms, and once you save that, we can save it either as a draft. So if it's a draft, it won't be sent to your accounting department. If I save it as final, that will send an email directly to your accounting person. And of course, that accounting person is all set in the admin section. Whoever you set as an accounting role, this notification will be sent to them. You can also add some additional dates, some information in here. Save this invoice to send till next Friday. So if you want to talk directly to your accounting person, you can send a note in here. So let's just first save this as a draft. It'll notify that you are saving as a draft and it's not complete. And we hit OK. And now we have a draft invoice. I can download that invoice and take a look at it, or send it to the client, or I can go back in at any point and then save that as a final. So once that's saved as a final, a notification will be sent off to your accounting department. So this gives you a summary of all of your invoices. Again, I can go in and download that invoice as a PDF file. So there's our invoice. I can check the status of it when it was created. Your accounting person can go in here and change the status, like once it's been sent to the client. They can click this as sent. That will change the date sent as well. It also gives you, out of your total fee, it gives you a percentage that invoice represents. So again, if I go into that invoice, there's a second tab up here called a summary. And this summarizes all of your invoices. So in this case, we only have a single invoice that's been created, which is about 21% of the fee. I can print that. But if I were to add additional invoices, this summary will give you a tab of all of the invoices and the total amount for all of them as a summary. The second invoice type is by a percent by phase. And this is for larger jobs where you want to bill as a percentage of each phase. And so again, we can set up the phases in this project. The phases are primarily set here in the project data. So right now we only have 2 phases for a project. I could go in and add a third phase. There's going to be another video on that. If you click on these buttons, the section tutorials, they'll take you to the videos for that section. But since we only have 2 phases set up, you can see that we've set up, we can set up an average hourly rate and maybe a division budget for that phase of $3,000. We'll call this preliminary phase. We'll save that. The next phase was the scope change that we created. So that's that scope change. And we can assign that to a different division, or we can add in another division. So you can have multiple divisions here that are assigned in each phase. We have to set up, give that some data. We'll save that. And you can see that we've, out of a total fee, we've only set up $4,800 worth of phases on the project. So we can set up more phases or reallocate the division budget in each phase. Either way, when I set up the percent phase here, now we can go in and assign the default phase, and we can set the percentage. So for instance, if I go into this default page and set that as 1,000, and maybe this one is as 2,000. If we want to build the entire thing, this is the sub-consultant's fee. So all of your sub-consultants will show up in that as well. And then we can look at that as either percentage or of the overall fee. And once that's saved here, we can set up that we are billing for 90% of this phase and 10% of this phase. And again, each invoice you're able to get more granular with this percent phase thing. So it's usually the percent phase type is set up for much larger projects. The smaller projects are typically just done as descriptions. So that gives you an overview of how the invoices work. If we need to delete an invoice or change an invoice, you're always able to do that.